crazy excited about the win. Obviously, the key was getting the lead. Offense, 4 touchdowns and 5 possessions. Key early, obviously, they jump out 6 plays, 74 yards, run the ball, score quickly. Obviously, defense coming off performance at Buffalo doesn't bode well on your sidelines right there. So the offense answers back quickly, which obviously kind of steadies the ship right off the bat and calms it. And then obviously defense settles in and gets stops for the rest of the half. And offense just keeps scoring. They had the one possession they didn't score, then every other possession. Get a key turnover to pitch in. Did a really good job on their quarterback, did a really good job of pass defense. Obviously, their tailback hurt us pretty much consistently throughout the game. But we stopped kind of 2 of the 3 phases of their offense. Going to halftime with the lead is key. Obviously, we needed every point we could get. And then, obviously, as we talked earlier in the year when we were playing from behind a bunch, now they can't really stick with their game plan. They're down, and they did. They had time, and they still ran the ball, but they certainly threw the ball more being down 28-7 than they probably would have if they had a lead. Just like we talked, how much of a factor it is to play from the lead in our offense, obviously, and our defense providing that. Second half starts off good. You know, we don't move it, but then we get another nice stop, and we get pinned, and we put together a really nice drive, 8 to 10 plays, and we get to midfield. We got a second down. They pressure. We got a good call on. We got a screen versus a pressure, but their kid jumps up and bats it to himself, makes a heck of a play, and that kind of changed things a little bit. I thought the next drive we played good defense. I think they went 9 or 10 plays, 46 yards. It's not like they got the ball and had the momentum and went right through us. Our defense still was playing and making them earn on a short field. Stopped Poppy twice in the red zone. They threw it to him on first down. We defended. Threw it to him on second down. Defended it. Threw it to him on third down. And Poppy, they make a nice throw, and Poppy obviously makes a great catch. So even down there, I felt like we battled. We battled a really good player for 3 snaps. He's kind of hurt people in the red zone pretty easily. So it's 28-14. Things are still probably in pretty good shape because we're playing good defense. Obviously, we get stopped. Then we have a bad snap on the punt, and they take advantage of that and score. And now all of a sudden, there's 9 minutes to go in the game, and it's a whole different football game. It's 28-21. At that point, obviously, they have a lot of positive energy. Obviously, at that point, our kids are going to be back on their heels, just human nature. I thought at that point our kids did a great job. OD and special teams, keep their composure. You got to keep playing. We're up 7 with 9 minutes to go. It's obviously we'd like to be up 35 with 9 minutes to go, but we're up 7. And if we outplay them the last 9 minutes, the nice thing is the punt unit kind of starts it off. We get stopped, but the punt unit goes back out there right after giving up 7, and they put it out on the half-yard line, which is one of the key plays in the whole game for us. And then we stuff a run, we stop a pass, and we get them to third and 6 or 7, and then we get the sack. Cam beats their guy, and then their quarterback does what their quarterback does. He's almost impossible, as we knew going in the game, and you watch during the game, every time you think you have a sack, it's usually not a sack, and Harry Houdini's it and finds a way. Even on that play, Costa knocks him out of the back of the end zone. He still completes the ball. It's amazing. And he's not even looking. He literally throws one over his shoulder right to a kid. You watch the end zone copy, it's a pretty incredible play, even though he was clearly out of bounds. So we get the safety, go back up 2 scores. And then we just try to shorten the game from that point. Defense, the one drive, the only issue I have that, we were playing soft coverage. We were trying, there's only 5 minutes left. We're trying to just make them use clock. We know they're going to move the ball on us, but we can't give up a quick score at that point. And they got to 20 and they got behind us. We got to keep that in front of us. We don't ever want anybody behind us, but certainly that's, if they complete, even if they run 2 or 3 more plays from the 20, even if they score, we're to where we can take a knee, which we were close, but not quite to take a knee, and then we get the stop at the end. So offense was the key first half, taking the ball up and down the field and getting us that nice lead was against a defense that had been playing well. Defense played well the whole day, really fought and scratched for every stop we got. Much better on third down. They hit their first 3 third downs, and then they hit their last couple third downs, but they were 1 for 9 in between on third down, which obviously in our 2 conference losses have been big issues against Western Michigan and Buffalo of not getting off the field, particularly on those 3rd and 7 pluses. And we were 8 out of 9 in the middle of the game of getting off the field, which obviously was very good for. And then, like I said, controlling their quarterback, he didn't hurt us rushing. We didn't necessarily control the tailback great, but we did control the passing game, which was good enough. So awesome win, great to win the Battle of the Bricks. and give us momentum going into another tough contest this week.
After the game on Wednesday, you called it a huge win, a huge relief. Besides film over the past couple of days, have you found yourself reflecting on that any, or was it just kind of on to Northern Illinois?
Yeah, it's on to Northern Illinois. So that night was nice. I went to bed with a smile on my face and felt good. But next morning was Sunday for us, and we're on a normal week, Wednesday to Wednesday. So, no, it was on. Northern Illinois, obviously, is undefeated in the league, and they whipped up Toledo pretty good, and Toledo's got a pretty good football team. So we know the challenge going on the road and playing them, so we just kind of back to work. And even our kids yesterday was their normal Sunday, even though they had to go to class. I mean, they were certainly upbeat yesterday, but really all they were worried about is getting a lift in and getting to meetings and correcting some mistakes and then seeing what the game plan looked like for Northern. So obviously everybody's excited, but when you're in season, you just kind of move forward pretty quickly.
How do you, take such an emotional victory and then have to turn it around and go on the road and play, such a good team in Northern Illinois?
Yeah, no, that's a challenge. That's the question, and how well can you handle that as players? And we talked about that a lot yesterday. And we've been on, we haven't had any off weeks this year. You know what I mean? We've kind of gone from one really good challenge, We won 3 games this year by a decent margin, but one of those 3 was a close game in the fourth quarter, and we kind of pulled away. The other 2 games we had in hand, but we certainly didn't go into those weeks thinking they were going to be easier, not going to be games that we. So it's kind of been one challenge, and our kids have embraced that, so they got to embrace it again. And you're mentally fatigued, you're obviously physically fatigued. Going to week 11, that's every team in the country, and then the teams that can muster enough the energy and put the last thing to bed, and because if we're going to have the same effort or better effort to beat Northern. So if you come off that effort and you're don't have a little bit the same amount in the gas, well, it's not going to go very well on the road at Northern. So that's a challenge this time of year. It's been a long, grueling season, and our kids have competed really, like I said, since Minnesota, we've been playing the game exactly how we want to play the game. We haven't been perfect by any stretch, but our kids have played really, really hard, and they're getting better and better in a lot of areas. So that's the goal, to get a little bit better this week. And we got to be smart this week. Obviously, you're going to be practicing through the weekend, and our schedules are all out of whack. And they're going to class, the day of a game. They're going to class the morning after the game. So we got to get as much as you can balance getting ready for Northern physically, but balance in the mental and physical of getting them a little bit freshened up if we can.
So you also, after the game on Wednesday, talked about the lack of a trophy for the Battle of Bricks rivalry. This week, if you win, you do get a trophy, the new Mallory Cup. What's it going to be like playing for that?
Well, we had talked, I had talked preseason. We've talked a lot about Coach Mallory and his career at Miami. And statistically coaching, he had the greatest run in Miami history. There's been so many storied, iconic coaches. You can get in an argument who's the greatest coach in Miami history. That's a pretty awesome argument because there's a lot of really good candidates. But as far as record here, there is no argument of who had the best run at Miami. He had the best tenure at Miami. So we had talked, with him passing, and I got to know him a little bit. I've known his family. We had talked preseason about, we even talked to kids about, we're going to play football this year. That's when Bill Mallory's looking down at us, he's going to have a lot of pride in how this team plays, And like I was saying yesterday, his son, I was telling the team, is one of his sons who I know texted me after the game and basically alluded to that and was talking about how competitive and how hard we fought and how hard we hung in there. And I said, hey, I think your dad would have been proud yesterday. And he's like, yeah, I think you'd have been proud too. So now we're playing in a game. Obviously, he coached at Northern, he coached at Indiana, he coached at Colorado. I don't know as much about his legacy there, obviously, but I know he's a great coach there because he left there to go on to Indiana, and he had a successful run there. So, but for us, it's a huge deal, for a lot of reasons, this game, but that adds to it. And knowing he's going to be watching down on our football team, I'm sure Northern feels the same way. He's watching down their football team, but just gives you a little bit extra heartbeat to say, okay, let's make sure when he's watching down, we're playing the game, we're giving everything we can. We're emptying the barrel on every second, and so it just adds to the moment and adds to that game. And I think we won't play them every year because crossover, but I think when we do play them, I think obviously having Bill Mallory's name on the game will mean a lot to both teams.
What specific challenges does Northern pose, and how similar are they to other teams you've played this year?
Defensively, in my opinion, they're the best defense in this league by a wide margin. And I don't even know really who to compare them to, because I don't think statistically there's any comparison, and I don't think they are incredibly physical, fast, defend the run, defend the pass. Doesn't matter who they play. And then offensively, they're similar to OU as far as it's all about their running game, and everything works off their running game. All right, some teams, their bases are pass, and their pass sets up the run. Other teams, their run sets up the pass. So they're also similar to our offense. Some of the structure and things they do are things that we do offensively. They run some similar plays that way. So just like our offense, just like OU's offense is predicated, get your run game going, then get your play action game going off it, or get your run game going so good that they're loading the box so much that you got just easy opportunities in the pass game to take advantage. And that's the way they've been for years, of run the ball, physical, run the quarterback. All the way back to the Lynch days, they've always had a running quarterback and use that as an extra attacker, which always puts you short in the box, and then play great defense. So they're doing what they've always done. Obviously, they're playing very well, and a huge win against BYU a couple weeks ago. They've rushed for 296 yards each of the last 2 league games. So they get the running game going, they play defense, they're pretty tough to beat.
And physically, how'd you come out of the Ohio game?
Probably the best game we've had all year. Probably we got some bumps and bruises, which you expect out of every football game, but there was no day after Sunday report of he's probably not going to make it. So we're pretty excited that we didn't like I said, you have your normal play OU, and it's very physical and very intense, but everyone seems to be at this point feeling like it's week 11, but feeling pretty good.
So obviously a huge win on Wednesday night. How do you, as a team, kind of avoid getting caught up in that and being able to focus on your matchup next weekend or next Wednesday?
I think it's just keep doing what we're doing. Our preparation the last, I would say, 6-7 weeks has been unbelievable. Offense, defense, and special teams. I think if we just focus on that and just focus on preparation as a whole, we'll be completely fine.
Chuck, after the game the other night, made a big deal about how he constantly had to remind you guys to ignore the fans who were getting a little nervous as Ohio was coming back. Do you hear them, and is it a problem for you guys, or are you pretty much able to drown that out?
I think the team is pretty good at drowning all that out. Everywhere we go, I think it's just fans being fans. They don't like to see a little comeback Ohio had going, so they're yelling at us, but myself, I wasn't hearing anything. I was just focused on the game and trying to win.
So how would you describe the mood of the team now? I mean, you have a great first half against Ohio, and then you have to hold on at the very end. But you beat Ohio, finally. What's that do for you personally, first of all, and then how would you describe the mood of the team at this point?
Beating Ohio, I haven't done it, or I guess we haven't done it since I've been here. It's my 5th season, first time in 6 years we've actually won the game, and it's a feeling you can't describe. It's the first time we've beat a rival like that since I've been here, and for the seniors and everything, it's just unbelievable. You can't describe it. And moving forward, we have 2 guaranteed opportunities left. They have a great defense, and their offense obviously is getting better, and we just got to focus on preparing for them and getting after them.
How are you feeling injury-wise? Is it just the mark on your arm there?
No, I'm totally fine. Just a little goose egg on the elbow. That's about it.
Obviously, you guys have been put through a lot this year with the injuries and everything. How are you guys coping with all of that on the defense, especially? You had a great first half against Ohio, and in the second half, they were kind of able to put a couple things together. But still, you only gave up 14 points to an offense that had been averaging like 51. So apparently you guys are adjusting pretty well. How do you guys feel about your situation right now?
It's definitely a tough situation, but, we just got to keep moving forward, because that's the only thing we can do. A couple big players that's out, so we just trying to – everybody had to adjust. Players that didn't play had to step up and just – fit in, because you got to learn fast and just keep it moving.
Do you put any extra pressure on yourself to replace some of those guys who may be out injured?
I wouldn't necessarily call it pressure, because I actually like pressure personally, but I definitely feel like that I have to step up even more as a leader, be more vocal, and lead by example, and just make sure I'm moving forward each and every day.
So what kind of challenges does NIU's offense present to the defense? Are they like any team you guys have played this year?
They're definitely a strong running team, so it'll have to be very disciplined in the box, but on the back end we have to stay awake also, because they're a heavy run team and they like to pop it over your head. So they live on DBs going to sleep, and we just got to stay solid in the box.